Ah boy, it's been a while since I've opened this game. Whew. I don't know how my microphone's gonna sound for this thing, but I don't really have much in the way of recording stuff, so I don't think it really matters too much. Oh. Ah, been a while. Alright. Let's see if I can still do stuff that I want to. Okay, yeah. Okay, still fine on the climbing bits. Plane. I normally play this with other people, but I did play Peak for a little while, where I just played it for the sake of passing time, because I find it relaxing, and it's actually because of that that I've decided to try and use this as a way to speak my thoughts, because I've been seeing a lot of things as of recently that have interested me. Let's take let's take the normal one and then see how it goes. I just want to be chill for now. I live! Whoa, did I see a campfire icon just now? Ah, well, anyways, let's see what we got. Okay, we got this thing, that's good. We got some of this. Not sure how much help it will be, but might as well keep it. I don't need this, I believe. Don't need that for this run. Don't need much of anything. I'll just take some essentials for now, and then I'll see how it goes. I won't need this, so I'm just gonna take this. Should we cook some coconuts? Just make our life a little bit harder. What's life without a little bit of challenge, after all? I'm gonna get some coconuts. But yeah, that said, I did want to use this as a sort of way to, as an excuse to speak, per se, about the things I've been thinking about. Give me a sec to cook these. So, essentially... Sure. Yeah, essentially, I've been seeing, like, a lot of videos on YouTube as of recently. Mostly involving stuff like, I don't know, people talking about stuff about their lives or the general environment of how things currently are in the world. And I found it interesting because I myself have just recently dealt with a bunch of issues on my end, specifically about just my thoughts in general. And it wasn't until I saw this this one channel video thing. What was it again? I think it was called "I'm Too Self-Aware to Actually Live" by Zell Unfiltered. Pretty cool guy from the one video that I've seen him on. But basically their discussion made me think a little bit, because I don't mean this as a sort of, oh, I'm so different that I'm special kind of thing, but even a while back during my elementary or something like that. Oh, milk. The heck? Okay. Yeah, during my elementary. Okay, which path should we be taking? I was put into a guidance counselor's office to get my regular check on, and then basically I spent a lot of time there talking about the things that I was thinking about, blah 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 blah. I think it was during a very problematic time of my life as well. But essentially, one thing that stuck in my head from their words was that compared to my peers, I seem to have somehow ended up living in a different wavelength, as the way this described it, because I've always expressed that I felt out of place a lot of the time with my peers in regards to just, you know, the concerns that we've had, the thoughts that we usually have, because like when you're a kid, of course, some of the things that you would be thinking about would be like, I don't know, like who you might have a crush on, what your classes lessons are, if you can like pass your next upcoming exam, stuff like that, you know. But on my end, oh, this is a bit sketchy. Oh, and we're good. Yeah. But on my end, however, I don't fully remember what I was thinking about, but I found it a bit harder to join in on the fun stuff that people have been doing. And I'm not entirely sure why. Hold on, let me eat this coconut real quick. No! No! Ah, dang it, dude. Oh well, that's probably my fault. We have another one though. Not a big deal. But if I lose this, I'll be quite upset. Okay. Thank goodness. Right, let's bring this back. I'll take the lollipop with me and a bandage. Where was I? Yeah. Okay, I don't actually fully remember what my concerns were as a kid, but yeah, I just remember struggling to relate with a lot of the kids in my class as well, from me not having the same kinds of concerns as them. And you know, regardless of however different I may think, it doesn't really change the fact that you can easily start to feel lonely from, you know, your lack of connection with others. Now, this doesn't mean, of course, that I didn't have any friends either, because I did have friends. It's just that, you know, I just had a quite the unlucky streak regarding my choice of friends, because whoever I had as a best friend during each of my school years back then, they would be the only one that moves out to somewhere else the next year. It was quite unfortunate, but I'm over it for now. Could be a discussion for another time. Okay, let me see what we have here. Oh! Ow! Oh, no way, dude. This thing? Oh, come on. Oh, well. I'll leave that be then. I took a choice, and I gotta live with it. Okay, give me a sec to figure out where I should go before I continue with what I was about to say. Okay, we might have to head back down here a bit so we can retrace our steps. It doesn't hurt to look back at where you've been to, just to see there was another way. And in this case, I know I'm trying to probably make this sound a bit deeper than it should be, but you know, like looking back on things that you've done doesn't really hurt to see how things would have been different. But of course, you shouldn't also get caught up on what could have been, because they'll start to wear down on you over time. And ideally, you should mostly focus on what you can do. The main purpose of looking back is just learning, i.e. hindsight, yeah, hindsight. I don't think you can see with your eyes. Alright. Now, alright. What was I? Right, the discussion on the video that I've seen where they were concerned about being too self-aware to actually live. Now, the discussion was very interesting. I found it very, very interesting, actually. While I can draw some parallels with the experience that they've had, I'm more so interested in the degree of awareness and wisdom that they've presented in the video. Ooh, okay, I'll live. Whew. I gotta stop taking risks like that. But I'm currently hoping that my intuition will help me out on this. Oh, the sun's rising soon. Actually, the sun's rising soon where I live right now. Actually, I do apologize if my alarm suddenly goes off, because that means I'll have to go to work. Let's see. Oh, there's luggage here. I'll take a sec to check this out. Oh my goodness, the music just scared me. Let's eat this extra coconut, and then let's put this medkit in here. Actually, I can probably use this bandage. Wait, it'll save me if I'm falling. I'll be fine. Is the fog rising? It's probably rising, but I'm not too concerned. Let's head back down a bit. Yeah, I'm a lot lighter now than before, so I'll wear this. Yeah, the wisdom that they've shared, but also just the awareness of how when you're caught up in your own thoughts, when you're like in a venue or something where you're supposed to have fun with others, or you know, something along those lines, the issue becomes that, okay, I need to think about what I gotta do here. Yeah, the issue becomes that it becomes a lot harder to live in the moment, if that makes sense. Okay, let's head back down here. Okay. Not sure if this is a better position, but let's climb up on this tree. Oh yeah, this is... Yeah, it becomes harder for one to live in the moment of any situation. And the thing is, I myself have experienced that a good chunk of times as well. Because, you know, for some of us, some people like us, it's really hard to not think about, you know, concerns or things that you notice in specific places, the things that you notice about the patterns of how people act, how others may do a lot of, I don't know, I guess I would say acting to fit in society or just in a group in general. And while that's not inherently bad, I'd say, because, like, you know, it's natural for people to want to feel that they want to belong, so it doesn't hurt to do, you know, to take certain steps to fit in per se. But how much is actually okay to mask? Is that the main term for it? I'm not sure how much is actually okay for you to do regarding that. In the sense that, when does it stop being you per se that's being presented? Because there's, of course, there's that one theory or whatever involving like windows of one stuff or something like that, and then there's the stuff that you know about yourself, there's the you that the others know, there's like the you that you yourself don't know, so on and so forth. Okay, we made it to the peak, guys. Wow. Okay, I'm gonna need this sec to gather my thoughts, so I'm gonna chill on this campfire for a bit. Give me a second. What are we getting? Pandora's lunchbox. That's fine, I suppose. We can have a bit of variety. Not more milk. Alright. Okay, I think I've gathered all my stuff and my thoughts as well. I reviewed the video for a little bit. Let me just start this thing up. I'm not sure if this is still the meta or whatever, but I'm just gonna do it regardless. I mean the cooking part of the thingies here in Peak. Let's see, what can I get rid of? Rope would be nice to head back down and pick up some stuff, but I'm not entirely sure if it's gonna be mandatory for me. I'm gonna drop it for now, and then I'll take Pandora's lunchbox with me instead. Not sure how much this is gonna help me, but I think I can use it to just draw them on my way down there. Right. Might as well go for it. Why not? Give me that! My legs! My legs! I'm good. Okay. Here we go. Right. Ooh, a cannon. Okay, interesting. I'm not sure how much this is gonna help me out, but it'll be really funny to use. Let's see if we can go up there. Ooh, kingberries are very tempting as well. What's the angle we're gonna go for? Let's start here. Go for something like that, maybe. Alright. Launch me. Launch me. Ooh! Oh, did I make it? Where am I? Okay, I'm up, so I'm gonna assume I made it. I'm gonna wait for the rain to go away. But anyways, yeah. Just in correlation to the video and what I've discussed earlier, even today, I still feel like I haven't really, lined up with what everyone's lives have been so far. Because, I feel like I haven't gone through certain essentials, or I don't know if it's essentials, but like, would it be stupid to call them canon events? I don't think so. Maybe. Just what you would stereotypically expect from, life and experiences based on what you see from others. And by that, I'm talking about like, being really concerned about your job, let's see, having concerns about getting romantic partners like girlfriends or boyfriends. Oh my goodness, I farted. My fault, guys. I did not mean to do that. Alright, there's some luggage here. Okay, there's an energy drink again. I'm not sure if I'm gonna really have the energy for that. Give me a second. I don't recall if those mushrooms are safe, so I'm just not gonna eat them. Yeah, those concerns that I've mentioned aren't really ones that I've personally had, or at least I haven't succeeded, rather, I think is more accurate to say, in those aspects. But at the same time, I'm not particularly in a rush either, per se. Okay, okay, like, my neck really hurts from speaking. I'm not really usually used to speaking for extended periods of time. I've said this with many friends online before, but since I'm normally just silent and keep to myself outside, my neck starts to hurt if I speak for a prolonged period of time. Of course, in short bursts, it's completely fine, but I think you understand what I mean. Okay, this path is no bueno. No bueno, bro. Let's see if we can climb up this tree and if we can get a better path from it. Okay, I'm fine. Right, where was I? Yeah, once again, I'm sorry, I keep getting distracted. I'm just a very distracted person. We could potentially go up there, but I'm not sure how safe that would be. I'm gonna get extra things from this, and then I'll try climbing up here. Oh, you can see me. Hello. That's fun. Yeah, I haven't found much success there, but also I haven't been particularly concerned about it either, because like, I don't know, it just never bothered me too much. Like, I've had friends who have expressed their how upset they are, or how disgruntling it is for them to not have partners at the moment. And I've had other friends tell me as well that they seem to be unable to stop looking for romantic partners. It's like a drug in some way. Now, I of course, I don't really intend to say that relationships are a bad thing, at least romantic ones. It's just that for me, in my experience, um, I may not have a lot of romantic experiences with people, but I feel very fulfilled as a person regarding the people I have in my life in terms of friends in general. And while I may not have a lot of romantic love per se, I feel quite fulfilled again in regards to love in general. I have a good amount of friends who I trust with many things, and I feel quite thankful that for some of them, I believe I believe I also might be important in their lives as well. And while it's not like it's not like I interact with them every single day or I'm involved with every single aspect of their life, but when times are tough, I can go to them and talk about the things that have concerned me and vice versa. And I'm always very eager to hear about the updates that my friends may have regarding their own lives, because it's quite important and I'm quite interested. Hold on, let's avoid that evil ball there. Can I reach this? No, it's fine. But yeah, while I might not have a lot of romantic love, I feel very fulfilled regarding my love in general, in the ones I've expressed and at times the ones I've received. Of course, that's just currently me right now. Okay, I need to stop here for a sec. It's raining. That's just me in my current mindset right now, and I say that because I do have a lot of major shifts regarding my mental state. Right now I'm what I would say very stable, so I'm quite happy for that, and that actually helps me gather my thoughts a lot more. But that brings me to a recent thing that I've thought about as well, about an experience that I've went through, and the main word that I found about it was limerence. Now I don't think, and I don't know how many of you have heard the word, because like the first time I saw it was indeed the first time I've ever seen it before. It was quite interesting. Hold on. What can I get rid of? Need this for the funny thing. Pandora's lunchbox is interesting, but I'm not sure if I need it. Scout cookies. We still have more uses out of this. How heavy is my stuff anyway? Okay, I can try to stave off hunger through this, so I'm gonna use all of this right now for the extra energy. And put this somewhere in my bag, just to reduce the load. Okay, let's proceed. We must continue going up. Oh, that's very tempting. Actually, no, I can't reach that. That's not tempting, that's death. What were my thoughts on again? Ah, goodness, I can't remember. I keep getting distracted. I do apologize again. Okay, this does not seem to be the right way up. Where is the right way up? Oh, there's the right way up. Tempting, but no. I see a luggage below me, but also, again, no. It seems I do have to slowly go down here. Right, the word limerence. Because I myself, I'm not sure if it's, oh, what the heck? Is there a tick on me? Oh, I probably just touched the ivy. Now, I personally would not consider myself a normal person. Now, I'm not really saying that as either as particularly bad or good. It's just that I'm not, normal. And I don't mean to say that I'm particularly special. It's just that I'm different. Okay? I'm just built different, bro. I'm built different. um, ooh, interesting. Give me a moment. Should get milk with this bandage or repair myself. This is quite interesting. Okay, I'm gonna remove this and use this instead. Might be a lot more helpful moving forward. Okay, the music's gone eerie again, which I dislike. Oof. Okay, I was concerned I missed the jump there. Now onto the word limerence. Yeah, again, I don't particularly consider myself normal, so that means I've had to try and take a lot more time to understand what would be social norms, I guess. So when I was a kid, like for example, most of my other classmates would be talking about, you know, their crushes or how they dislike certain classes or subjects and lessons. Meanwhile, I was more busy on like, you know, which character from a recent cartoon I've seen was more interesting, or doing imaginary plays with, you know, my best friends during the time. But like I mentioned before, in the aspect of wanting to belong, just to fit in a bit better, I just said, you know, oh, yeah, this girl is also my crush. Whoever was popular at the time, of course, because you know, I didn't really have a preference for it on what I liked in people, or at least what I assumed a crush was. And it goes back to the concern about limerence, because it's because of the fact that I don't have too much experience of liking people. It makes it a lot harder to manage myself when I actually do start to like someone. Okay, speaking of, I like that. Oh, but I want that though. Dang. Ooh, but I have less weight if I keep the balloons. This is quite the annoying predicament. Be more useful. Okay, I'm gonna take a gamble and do that. I'm gonna hope that my Pandora's box is gonna keep me alive. Drop this Pandora's box here. Use this here. Okay. Ooh, hello. I think I saw luggage somewhere here on the way. I might have missed it. I misplaced it. Could have been on top of a tree. I don't really remember. Okay, we're at another checkpoint, so I'm gonna get back here if I get like water or something. Okay, I'm back. The sun has risen again, right? Let me start this thing up. Take this. I mean, cook it. And this seems fine. What do we have today? Oh, goodness. Mesa. Oh, I was planning to at least finish this session of playing Peak, but if I do die, that means the video will have to end. If I die abruptly, that's just gonna be unfortunate if someone wants to listen to the full discussion. But then again, most of my Peak sessions only last an hour anyway. Let's head back down here. Ow! Big mistake. I am dumb. Oh, goodness. Oh, daytime. This means there's gonna be tornadoes and stuff. Oh boy. Where are you? Alright, yeah. Because I do not have too much experience on being in love, I think that's the term that people use for it a lot of the time. I'm not sure if it's actually that though, but oh boy. Ow. The Philippine sun. Ow. Oh, hello berry. The berry is very tempting to have. just gonna eat it though. Yeah, there we go. Why do I have no burdens in my life? Okay, that's not good. That is not good. That is no bueno. That is no bueno. That is no bueno. Just gonna hold on to the milk just in case I get screwed over. But yeah, again, for you to be used to an experience, you need actual experience first, because you'll have something to look back upon and learn from your mistake. Yeah, oh goodness, this thing scares me so much. Right, where was I? Yeah, you need prior experience in anything so you can learn how to deal with a specific problem at a later time if you deal with it again. Oh boy. That might be a mound, I'm not sure. Check it out, but I'm not sure how it'll go. Oh, I can't climb that, okay. Well, I can, but just have to drop them out. I'll cool off for a sec. Yeah, once more. Oh, the shadow's moving a bit. Okay, let me proceed. So yeah, I have a harder time dealing with my emotions when I actually am in love, or at least what I presume to be love. Surprise! But, oh my gosh! Oh no! Please! Please! Okay, I'm good. Aha, you fool! Shoot again! Oh, oh. Okay. Okay, I'm low-key burning a bit. I could just dive down this canyon, actually, now I think about it. Okay, let's see. I could dive down to make it a bit funny. Right. Let's head back down. Okay, that doesn't give me unlimited energy, but it gets damage. So, on to what I assumed was the feeling of being in love was actually, in hindsight, limerence. And it was quite interesting for me because at the time, or during all the previous times where I feel like I was currently in love, it's a different state of mind. It's really problematic, I'd say, because like with all the experience I've had of feeling love for another person, and I'm not talking about the limerence kind of love. Limerence, in comparison, is very unhealthy, I'd say, because when you're experiencing it, it's almost like you're not quite yourself. Because, at least for me, it changes you in a lot of ways. It's a double-edged sword, in a sense, because on one end, you feel quite motivated to do things and to improve yourself, you know? And you feel a great degree of care for another person. And in turn, you'll also want to change yourself to become better, to fit in that person's vision, or perhaps what you presume would be their preferences. Excuse me. But on the other hand of the thing, it also clouds your judgment by a lot, because it's a very blinding, very, very blinding love for another person. It turns you blind to whatever flaws they may have, in a sense that your mind will think of many different ways to just... Okay, let me get rid of these first. It makes your mind make up ways to describe the other person as flawless. And well, you know, it's not particularly just them being flawless that's the thing here. It's the fact that your brain itself is making up reasons as to why this person you're interested in can do no wrong. Even if like, oh, okay, candy. Let me open this up first. This might have a bomb though. Hello. Ooh, interesting. I could waste another lollipop going up there. Oh, there's a scorpion heading towards me. I'm not gonna wait for that. I'm gonna eat this. Yeah, it makes you blind to their weaknesses, and again, when it comes to relationships in general, again, I may not have direct experience with it, but I have a lot of experience with my friends and general people coming to me for advice on how to deal with their own problems, and usually that involves relationship concerns as well. Now, it's kind of funny to me because I am not the type of person that people may approach, like, you know, during after class immediately, or when they're off on their work, and I'd be the first one they want to interact with, you know, that kind of person. You know the kind, where the person you kind of look for. I'm not that kind of person, or at least like in my recent friends. Oh, that's the alarm. I have to prepare to go to work, but I still have time. I think this is a bit more important for now. It's very important to let your thoughts have an outlet, so you can express yourself and things do not fester within you. But yeah, I may not be the type of friend that someone goes to immediately to hang out with, although I appreciate the times that it does happen. Oh, I can't pick that one up. But it's a lot more common for people to approach me when they do have a problem that they want to solve. I'm not really sure what they see in me. I might have to ask someone that I know about that later on. But yeah, on the concern of limerence once more, on top of blinding you, it also makes you very irrational, in the sense that every single little thing starts to feel very big, if that makes sense. If the person you're interested in, or I guess the term for this case is your limerent object, if the limerent object does literally anything, it feels such like a big thing. And let me elaborate a bit. Let's say you're just talking to them, right? Ooh, hello. And they give you, I don't know, perhaps a response in return, or maybe express some sort of care about you. You know, even if it's, oh my goodness, even if it could be something that should be, you know, a normal human response to, you know, just generally being courteous, or whatever, how do you pronounce it? You start to feel like you're being treated in a very special way. And it goes the same for the other end as well, because in relation to wanting to change yourself to fit within the vision of your limerent object, limerence also makes you, oh my goodness, no, I'm good. That was scary. I probably could have dropped a bit though. Would have been a waste of my energy. When your limerent object disagrees with you on something, it makes you want to immediately change your own ideas, which I personally believe is a really bad thing, because, you know, it's not representative of what you actually are. And on top of that, when you message them per se, or talk to them, and they don't immediately respond in a little while, you start to think of a lot of scenarios of what ifs here and there, about concerns like, oh my goodness, could they possibly be hating me? Or did I do something distasteful? Why are they not responding? Did I do anything to make them uncomfortable? You know, these kind of thoughts start to flood your mind. And I don't know about you, but personally, I'd say that's quite the unhealthy reaction to, you know, what should be a small thing. And again, being in limerence, despite all that, it is a very, very addicting feeling, you know, because you're in a sort of emotional high a lot of the time. Should I pick this up? This is very tempting. But I do have double rope. I should be fine without. Yeah, being in limerence is a very addicting feeling because, again, you do have a lot of emotional highs when you're with someone that you're very interested in. Oh no. But at the same time, again, it is very unhealthy. I personally would not recommend it. Rather, I would not recommend paying much attention to it. Although that's a lot. It's a lot easier said than done. Hold on. I'm gonna do this. I'm up here for a sec, and then continue climbing. Please be a platform. Okay, that's a platform. Okay, gotta climb up here, and we should have shadows to hide under. All right, we're good. Okay. Because when I'm usually in limerence, it makes me unable to think rationally, and even worse than that is it doesn't actually let me express myself in a way that I actually want to, if that makes sense. Because when I am interested in another person, I prefer it to be more chill. Okay, I need a Dasani water, bruh. Nothing. So I'm going up here. Can I go up there? Yeah. It could be a path. Yeah, because again, even if a relationship blooms from the moment of limerence you've had, and you know, maybe confess your feelings to another person. Okay, can I actually proceed up there though? What the heck? I can't see. Okay, this might not be the way. I need to climb up a bit higher. Okay, we'll have to climb up here. Even if a relationship blooms from that moment of limerence you have and you confess to them and they accept you and whatnot, if that feeling of limerence dies down, or is that maybe is that what people call a spark? I'm not sure. But when that dies down, what do you have left? Do you actually love this other person? And do they love you for who you actually are? Because they could have fallen in love with the you that was in limerence, that was trying to change for another person. And the thing is, while I'm a very heavy advocate for self-improvement and changing oneself to be better, but at the same time, I don't really recommend changing yourself too much just for the sake of pursuing someone you're interested in, because again, it is not you. And if they fall in love with that version of you as well, when you change back to who you usually are, would that sense of love still remain, you know? Which is why I personally believe that it's a lot better to eventually fall in love with someone who you're not deeply or maddeningly in love with, if that makes sense, you know? Because it's a lot better for you to be able to express yourself in a more truthful manner. And I know that some people may not like who they are, but oh whoa, wait, can I do some Spider-Man maneuvers with this? I probably can. I'm gonna replace my, or rather I'm gonna use my rope ahead of time. I'm gonna put this here. Let's climb up here first. Let me throw this up here. Please don't bounce off. Okay. And yeah, it's a lot better to express yourself because, for example, I've had a friend who I've known like for a little bit, not too long, but a little bit. Wait, did I burn the right rope? What? Oh my goodness, are you? Okay, thank goodness. Okay, bro. If that was broken, I would be quite mad. Okay. Yeah, I've had this friend who I've known for a little bit, not too long, like maybe just a year or two. But essentially, okay, so for context, I have very seasonal states of mind, I'd say, where, you know, for a couple of weeks I may think like this, I may think like that, or, you know, and it's easy for my mind to get caught up in things. But in this case, when I was at work, I suddenly felt like a deep longing in my heart. It might be cheesy to say that, but I think it's a lot easier to understand it that way. I felt a deep longing in my heart, but I was very confused on what the feelings were for or who they were directed towards. So I took a little while to think about it, and eventually my brain concluded that the person I'm probably interested in, okay, I have this, I don't need you. Wait, actually, anti-rope is longer, but I think I'll be fine without it. What's in here? Hello. Well, another checkpoint, so let me gather my thoughts for a second, then I'll get back to you. Okay, I'm back. I've drank some water, prepared my breakfast, and let me continue where I was. So, where was I? Right. On the aspect of limerence and the feeling that I've had at the time during work. Okay, let me use this and then I'll just use this to slide down. Oh, does the yellow winterberry reduce all of my status effects in general? That's quite interesting. But anyways, yeah, I was very confused in who the feelings were directed for, and then my brain eventually concluded that it was probably directed to that friend of mine that I was talking about. And it scared me because the previous times that I've had, I've felt limerence in a similar way. I've often made very foolish decisions, and it eventually led to the ruin of what was a good friendship, or at least looking back, of course, it was just you know, bad memories have shaped my concerns about it, so I'm naturally afraid of dealing and facing with those issues again. But in this case, when I was in limerence with them, it was very difficult because on top of the things that I mentioned before on how you begin to struggle to act normally, like, you know, you wanted to change for them, you doing all of these things, every little thing feeling like a big thing. On top of that, you can't really get rid of them in your mind. Oh, that's another alarm. Yes, I know I have to go to work. I'll do that later. Again, um, yeah, those feelings, on top of those things, you also cannot stop thinking about them. And I don't mean like, you know, actually, I'm not sure what a typical thing would be regarding this case, but on my end, it was very, very, very intrusive. It was, you'd be forced to think about them every single day. Sorry, my recording broke there for a sec. But anyways, what I meant to say was you'd be thinking about them every single day, the entire day, and that gets very tiring, you know? Because there's just so many thoughts that go into your head, like what if scenarios, what you want to talk with them about, what you want to do with them, what you know, so on and so forth. But while that can be sweet in some contexts, when it becomes very disruptive to your daily life, that's a very easy tell that what you're feeling is probably quite unhealthy, you know? And thankfully, I'm currently in a position where, because of the time I've spent trying to develop love with other people and not romantic ones, I found myself in a position where I have a lot of people that I can talk to about my problems. So naturally, I went to a lot of people regarding my, you know, my current concerns and my feelings, including the person that I was interested in. Now, of course, I didn't tell them that they were my object of interest, but it's important to get insight, you know, on relationships in general, and then what brought about certain feelings and how things may flow, how things start, etc., etc. Okay, there's nothing I can do with that. Ow. Okay, come up here. Yeah, and then I asked a lot of my other friends as well about this, and then I guess one of the main things that's stuck in my head as a question is, I myself have had my fill of love from others, and the sheer amount of love that I offer them, at least that I try to. I'm quite expressive in my, I'm not sure if I'm particularly expressive, but I don't hide my love for another person, if that makes sense, and I love very easily. So I guess that also means maybe the love that I give doesn't mean much if a lot of people have it. I don't know if that's a thing or not, but since I have my fill of that, I've always been confused on what exactly is the difference that turns someone from a friend into a significant other, you know? And that question is something that I've asked a lot of my other friends, and their answers were quite interesting. One of my friends said that a significant other or a partner is just a very close friend who you want to get intimate with. I guess is a way to censor it a bit. Which was, to me, that's kind of crazy though. But I get it. Modern relationships, especially today, do involve a certain degree of expressing your love to one another through intimate interactions, physically intermingling per se. And I'm completely fine with that. I understand that. That's just the thing that happens nowadays, and it's just one of the ways people express their love for another. Of course, it's not something that everyone does, but it's normalized enough in modern day, I guess. But that said, on my end, I've never thought about that regarding the person I was interested in. I was interested in. Sorry about that. Um, because like in our interactions, never once have I ever thought about doing anything that would disgrace them or even potentially disrespect them. I don't really like to think of other people as quote unquote mine. I don't like the idea of limiting people or restricting them too much just because you're in a relationship. And by that I mean I have people that I know who, when they're in a relationship, they actively disallow their partners from talking with other people. Like for example, a girl may get really upset if their boyfriend talks with another girl, even if the interactions are, quite chill with no other intent. It's part of why I personally feel more comfortable talking to people who I know already have partners, because there's a certain degree of security, you know, uh, a certain degree of security where people are less likely to think that I have ulterior motives for interacting with them. And it also, other than what could be internal thoughts that I have, it also stops me from having subconscious thoughts or unintentional thoughts about potentially pursuing a relationship with another person, because I feel like that's just something that you can't really get rid of unless, you're born without it. I know other people are probably like that, and then I myself am quite different in that sense. But yeah, that was one of the interpretations that my friends had for what a significant other is, and I found that very interesting. But I couldn't see myself doing that with another person. But of course, I do trust this person enough to where while I am quite insecure about my experiences regarding that, because I have no experiences with physical intimacy with another person. While I have not much experience in that aspect, I'm fully comfortable with um, spending time with them in that aspect if it is asked of me, and I'm not going to be looking for it particularly, because it's just not me. But um, I trust them enough to, that makes sense, although that makes it sound a bit creepy. I think I don't know, I don't really like talking about these things. But anyways, for another interpretation of what a significant other means or represents for another person, um, ooh, chain launcher, ooh, very tempting, very tempting, very tempting. Am I gonna burn? I don't think I'm gonna burn much. If I burn, I can drink the energy drink. I have this, and this, and this. Not much vertical. Okay, I'll take the chain launcher then. I don't think I want to bring anything else. Right. Another interpretation came from my best friend per se. And they said that to them, a significant other is someone that they feel comfortable with to be themselves, if that makes sense. And while that might sound stereotypical for others, it's a bit more special for my friend, because they in particular are a very closed off person, you know, in the sense that it'll be quite hard to get a read of what they're currently feeling, because they keep most of their thoughts to themselves. They may interact with you or join in on certain things, but it's not always what they might be thinking about, if that makes sense, you know. I think that's completely natural, especially if you're trying to fit in with the group, you know. Okay, I'm not gonna take a break here, because this is basically the same map. It's completely natural, because again, it goes back to the feeling of fitting in. But again, So my friend considers a significant other to be someone that they can be completely open with and be themselves around. And a question that I presented them was, if that's your main requirement for one, then, for example, why am I, why am I not a significant other? Or rather, like, we are that already to each other, but we are not significant others to each other, if that makes sense. And I think I I liked it because it made them think a little bit. I don't know if they're gonna be thinking about it moving forward, but it's good food for thought, you know. And upon that line of thought, it made me concerned a bit because it went back to the idea that maybe if you can already be very open and comfortable around people you care about in general, even if they're just your friends, then what is it again that makes someone a significant other? I feel like it went back to the idea of a significant other is potentially just someone who, again, you're quite close with, but just you consider them as one of your options. Well, saying it as an option is a very horrible thing. You view them as someone who you can get physical with, if that makes sense, who you're comfortable getting physical with, because not particularly their type. I don't say that as a bad thing, but like it's just natural, you know. Okay, how do I proceed? I'm going up there. And so, yeah, it made me upset because I felt like the only reason I might have felt this way with the person I was interested in was because, I myself may be feeling those things and I just couldn't tell because, again, when you're in a state of mind where your judgment is very clouded, even if you yourself are aware that you're irrational, it does not stop you from being irrational, you know? You will still act irrationally if you're in an irrational state of mind. Ugh, let me climb this, please. It only makes you aware, it does not change how you will actually think. I've had that even for my, moments of where my life was, I'll just say I've endangered my own life. That scared me so much. Oh my goodness. Oh man, that was so scary. Whew. Okay, what was I? Right. Yeah. I was very scared because I don't really want to disrespect people that I care about with lustful thoughts, you know? It would be disrespectful of the friendship that we developed. And while some people may see that as a compliment or something, me having grown in an environment where other guys tend to be quite rash with treating women, I've grown to heavily dislike men in general, especially with, you know, what they think a man should be, how they treat other people, so on and so forth. It's quite disingenuous and it's quite disrespectful, more importantly. So I've slowly grown to try and avoid being part of that group, and I absolutely dislike being associated with them. I've tried very hard to stay away from those kinds of habits and mindsets. It's very, very bad. But where was I? No, right. Those are two interpretations that my friends have given me. And I've asked other friends as well, and they've shared their thoughts with me as well. With one of them saying, a significant other is someone that you will be willing to live your entire life with. And yeah, I get that. I get that. Yeah, personally, I agree with that as well, quite heavily. But again, that's also something that I'm not sure has to be limited to significant ones, significant others, because that's something that I personally believe can be handled with either family or, you know, friends. So these thoughts have been festering in my mind for like an entire month, where I've just been trying to understand what I was feeling and look for answers. And eventually my conclusion during that time was I'd be very more likely to regret not trying to pursue the person I was interested in, or at least to try and tell them about it, because it'll be better to at least try and then get a result rather than not pursuing at all and regretting it later. Because like I myself, when I'm in a state of mind of limerence, even when I was younger, I actually do tend to confess quite quickly. Like even if it's still like after a couple of months of interacting with the person of interest, but I still confess very quickly because I have to do it to clear my mind, because when I'm in a state of limerence, it makes me unable to focus on my education. I guess that's kind of why our parents and their parents may express that you should focus on your academics rather than falling in love. And it makes sense, yeah. Let me secure myself first. Okay. Yeah, I wanted to at least try and tell them. I still haven't at this point in time, but they're quite busy. That was the thing I had a while back. But by the end of that month of when I was stuck with that mindset, the word limerence came to me through another YouTube video again, of course, but the timing was just perfect because I myself am a relatively religious person. I'm not sure if that's gonna be uncomfortable for you guys to hear. I do apologize, but like that's just me. I'm not gonna be going around and forcing people to join my religion or whatever. I also understand that that really sucks. Nobody wants to hear that. Being forced into a thing is never fun. Anyways, that's besides the point. I was praying for a lot of wisdom and strength and to eventually find the answer, and it was presented to me. And I was given, a lot of help by having friends who truly cared about me, and I'm very thankful for a lot of these things. And when the word limerence came to me, it just clicked, It just clicked. I understood now what I was feeling, and just like a switch, my mind went back into normal mode. And looking back, it was literally as if someone else was like, driving the car of your body. It's quite horrifying if you think about it, because when you're so deeply in love or in limerence with another person, you are not yourself. You are absolutely not yourself. And I am about to run out of energy. It will be a more comfortable spot to move towards. Actually, I'll go there, and then I'll climb here. Okay. And I'm quite thankful to realize it, because it made me normal again, and I didn't have to go through with all the plans that my stupid confused brain had during the time of limerence, which were like, oh, I'm gonna interact with this person a lot more, I'm gonna do this and that, and then eventually I'm gonna ask them to do this, and then I'll start to confess, the silly plans that you come up with when you're not sound of mind. Oof. Okay. this is it would be a lot more convenient if I had normal rope at this point. It's quite convenient. I can do that though. Alright. Let's do it here. But yeah, once those thoughts eventually faded, I was quite happy because I could interact with ow. I was quite happy because I could finally interact with my friend again in a very normal way without, you know, my mind's being clouded by thoughts. And recently, I've heard as well that they're actually moving up in life, and I couldn't be happier. And to hear that they have, you know, higher potential to meet new people, and for them to even get closer with some of their friends, it brought me so much joy. In the past, when I was still in Limerence, I would have probably been happy, but there would have been, you know, a sort of bittersweetness to it because I'd also feel a pang of jealousy. But when they told me about it, there was none of that. I was just so happy. And then, all things considered, that is a self that I would prefer to be all the time, you know. I much prefer being myself. Okay, this is gonna be sketchy. No! You know what? Screw it. I'm good. Ah. Goodness me. Oh boy. Where's the peak? There's the peak. Alright, I'll just walk through to buy some time. And oh, yo, that looks like a yo, that's so cool. Excuse me, I'm quite juvenile as you can tell. Yeah, being myself is the me that I prefer to be because I can express myself in a very true manner, and it was because I was no longer in Limerence that I understood the love that I felt for this person is genuine and true. What I want for them is what is best for them, and if, you know, I can't always be there for them even if I pursue a relationship, because again, for me, as of right now, to be in a relationship with me feels like I'm limiting someone too much. I'm keeping them from being who they could be and from, you know, pursuing more happiness or even simple pleasures in life. Now, even if I may be quite open with some of these things, I may have a lot of tolerance for this and that, I'm not entirely sure if I can provide everything that a person needs. So, regardless of what I want, I do believe that I care a lot more for what a person needs, you know, especially if they're someone that I genuinely love. And while my normal self or my stable self in comparison may be depressing compared to me when I'm in a heightened state of emotion, I still prefer it to be this way. And even if sometimes, and even if, you know, my emotions may be seasonal, I may feel things here and there, may feel lonely about my current state of being single, but, you know, I feel like so long as I still have friends and people that I care about deeply in my life that I can talk to when I face struggles like these, I feel like I'll be alright. And in due time, who knows? Maybe I'll find someone who I can be with, or with me being relatively passive, I hope someone finds me, I suppose. I have a lot of love to give to others, just nobody to give it to, per se. But that's not entirely true either, because there are a lot of people who I can offer my love to. So again, I guess that just goes back to the question of what is it that makes someone a significant other? I'll be asking a lot more other people about this, and I hope to find more answers. Maybe I'll update you once I find more answers, but if you have any thoughts, please, by all means, do share. I am quite interested to see and hear what other people think about these things, because I just find it all so interesting, you know? And I think that closes off this specific video of me discussing Peak. I might do more of these when I have the time, but right now, I do have to make sure I don't end up being late for work. I'll see you guys later. Thank you. Oh, my neck hurts so bad, dude. Oh my goodness.